हेलो दोस्तों, बिगनर्स पॉइंट में आपका स्वागत है। और अभी हम कर रहे हैं ये पॉलिटी क्लास 7 सोशल साइंस है वैसे तो। ठीक है, तो यहाँ तक हमने कर लिया था क्लाइमेट एंड आवर लिव्स तक। अब इसके आगे आवर लिव्स आर डीपली कनेक्टेड विद द क्लाइमेट। हमारे जीवन है वो काय से डीपली कनेक्टेड है? क्लाइमेट से, एंड डिपेंडेंट ऑन इट। क्लाइमेट पर डिपेंडेंट है एक तरीके से, नेचर वगैरह पर। द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ क्लाइमेट इज विजिबल इन लोकल कल्चर्स फॉर इंस्टेंस, एंड इंडिया हैज़ मैनी फेस्टिवल्स एसोसिएटेड विद seasons and agricultural activities. Reach out to your grandparents or elders in your neighborhood. Ask them about the traditional festivals and dances they remember from their childhood and youth, especially those related to agriculture and rain. What rituals did they participate in? Then organize a cultural fest with your friends. You can showcase some of the dances, songs, and activities your elders shared with you, whether it is a dance, harvest rituals, or a simple story about a prayer to rain gods. Trying to bring these traditions to life for your classmates. The climate also has a direct impact on the economy. For instance, you may have the heard phrase monsoon failure, which refers Bihu, Chhat Puja, Makar Sankranti, Baisakhi, Pongal, every winter festival, Hemis, Longsong festival, Gudi Parva, Lohri, or Onam. To poor rainfall during the monsoon season. In such a case, the agriculture suffers. People, women generally have to walk long distances in search of water, and agricultural laborers are likely to migrate to the cities. Food, grains, vegetables, and fruits to begin with becomes costlier, fueling inflation. Industrial activity also often depends on a predictable weather and the availability of water. The world over, we can easily detect such connections between the climate and socio-economic conditions. Those conditions get especially strained when climate disasters strike. Climates and disasters. India's diverse weather patterns can bring about extreme conditions such as cyclones, floods, landslides, and other such climate-related disasters. These events affected people's lives, disrupt agriculture, damage infrastructure, disturb local economies. Cyclones. Every year, the Indian coastline, especially the eastern coast, witnessed several cyclones in past years. Some of them have been highly destructive, resulting in the loss of human and animal life, damaging property and infrastructure, uprooting trees, and causing soil erosion. The Indian Meteorological Department (IMD) keeps track of coming cyclones and provide information on their formation, evolution, place of landing, etc. The National Disaster Response Force (NDRF) is especially trained to respond to natural as well as human-made disasters. NDRF battalions are located at 12 different locations in India. The NDRF has played a key role in rescue and evacuation during disasters like cyclones, landslides, and floods. How are cyclones formed? We saw that in some special situations the atmospheric pressure near the sea becomes lower than the surrounding areas, creating a low pressure system. This is an invitation to the air from surrounding areas to come into the low pressure area, and the air from the sea moves in, bringing with it moisture and rain. When the low pressure system is intense and the wind speeds are high, this may result in a cyclone. As winds collect moisture, they form clouds and rotate inwards towards the center of the depression. This center, which is cloudless, is called the eye of the cyclone. Cloud formed, low pressure center, winds bringing moist air from sea. फिर आ जाते हैं floods. A flood occurs when water overflows into normally dry land. This could be due to heavy rainfall generating huge runoff water that the land cannot absorb, or due to excessive accumulation of water in bodies like rivers and lakes until the water overflows or their banks are breached. Floods occur frequently during the monsoons. States such as Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, and Assam are particularly vulnerable to floods. In the Himalayan regions, on the other hand, floods occur when glacial lakes overflow. Glacial lakes form a barrier of rocks and ice to hold their water. which often comes from melting glaciers. If the glaciers melt too fast, as it's increasingly the case, or if there is too much rainfall, the buildup of pressure can cause the water. Cyclone, landslide, forest fire, flood. To break through the barrier, this is called glacial burst, and it often has devastating consequences for people and property. In 2013, Uttarakhand experienced a sudden glacial burst caused by continuous heavy rain over several days. Many landslides followed. Areas around one of India's important sacred sites, the Kedarnath temple, were completely destroyed. Several villages were washed away in the floods, along with many roads and bridges. Altogether, about 6,000 people, many of them pilgrims, lost their lives. Many cities experience flooding when there is heavy rainfall. This may be due to an overburdened drainage system or poorly planned construction encroaching on the waterways and blocking the flow of water. Besides, urban surface of concrete or asphalt do not allow water to be absorbed by the earth. Landslides. A landslide is a sudden collapse of rock, soil, or debris, often triggered by heavy rain, earthquakes, or volcanic activity. Landslides are common in hill and mountainous regions such as Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, and Arunachal Pradesh, as well as the Western Ghats and hilly regions. These events often occur during the monsoon. In those regions, the chances of landslides have increased due to human activities such as the cutting down of forest, building infrastructure without following approved method, and the construction of too many buildings that block the natural flow of water. Forest fires. Forest fires are uncontrolled fires that spread rapidly across vegetation, often fueled by dry climatic conditions, droughts, or high winds. Human carelessness is another frequent causes. Forest fires are common in states with large forested or grassland areas such as Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh, as well as mountain range such as Western Ghats. Apart from destroying large areas of forest, fires harm wildlife, degrade the ecosystem, spoil the air quality, and displace local communities. The consequences are therefore both environmental and economic. Now, climate change. Climate change refers to significant long term changes in the climate. This may be on the scale of the planet or on a regional scale, and it involves shifts in temperature, precipitation, and weather events. In past millennia, we can go back millions of years. In fact, natural processes to prove climate change since the 19th century. However, climate change has been largely driven by human activities, particularly the burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, environmentally harmful industrial practices, and production and patterns of excessive or wasteful consumption. Fossil fuel sources of energy that were formed from the remains of plants and animals that died millions of years ago and were buried deep under layers of soil and rock or under the sea where heat and pressure slowly turned them into coal, petroleum, oil, and natural gas. Why does the burning of fossil fuels affect the climate? In the Earth's natural carbon cycle, carbon dioxide and other gases are released gradually into the atmosphere and trap heat from the sun. This natural greenhouse effect warms Earth enough to support life. However, human activities like industry, transportation, and agriculture have released enormous amounts of these greenhouse gases in just a few centuries. This sudden increase traps extra heat, causing rapid global warming and disrupting the climate patterns that plants, animals, and human societies have adapted to over thousands of years. In India, rising temperatures are predictable in many regions early in 2025. For instance, the country average temperature was 1 to 33 degrees Celsius above normal, as a result of which the winter was much shorter and milder than usual. This affects not only agricultural production but also many small scale industries. This is only one example showing how a warmer planet will present us with increasing challenges. Understanding the relationship between the cause of climate change and disasters can help us to prepare better for these challenges. It also supports the need for more environment friendly practices and building resilience. Resilience means the capacity of withstand or recover quickly from difficulties. And adaptation in communities. Governments worldwide, including India's attempt to promote measures of climate mitigation, the adaptation of steps to help slow down global warming and reduce the causes of climate change, such as cutting down on greenhouse gas emission, planting trees, boosting renewable energy, and improving energy efficiency, promoting sustainable lifestyles, etc. But these often clash with a desire for economic growth and increased consumption. Sustainable, something which can be maintained over a long period of time. Before we move on, India's diverse climate is shaped by its geography, including mountains, deserts, and plateaus. Weather is short-term, seasons recur on a yearly basis, and climate reflects long-term patterns over decades. Factors such as latitude, altitude, proximity to the sea, wind, and topography determine the climate. Monsoons are vital for agriculture, influencing crop cycles and livelihoods. Climate is connected with cultural traditions, festivals, agriculture, and economic activity. Understanding the climate helps prepare for natural disasters like floods and cyclones. Climate change leads to extremes of weather or temperature can have serve consequences on the natural and human worlds. ठीक है और इसी के साथ ये चैप्टर भी हो जाता है समाप्त.